It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the USA bobsledder Riley Compton. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get into the sport of bobsledding?
Yes, absolutely. So I played college softball at George Washington University, which is where Alana played. And I remember the first time I heard her story and having her come to George Washington, I was just mesmerized by everything she had to say about bobsled, and literally got butterflies in my stomach being like, wow, like this is something that I'm really interested in, and it'd be really cool to try it someday.
What was that transition like from playing at George Washington on the college softball level to getting into bobsledding?
I think having college athletics set me up really well for something like Bob, knowing what it's like to balance academic and, sport. Going into the real world of balancing a job and sport was something that was really helpful. From a sports perspective, it was the same level. It's just different because it's not a college team, it's Team USA and everything like that.
What was it like, obviously, getting to compete for the USA Bobsledding Push Championship?
It's been awesome. I love competing for Team USA bobsled developmental circuit, and being a part of Push Championships was incredible. Doing it the year of the Olympics, it was a big event. Rain sponsors were there. It was packed with a bunch of people because my teammates were going on trying to compete for their Olympic spots, and just to being able to be part of it was such a blessing and a fun time.
Was it like, obviously, getting to train and compete for the North American Cup?
The North American Cup, super fun, super challenging. Lake Placid, New York being in there, Whistler in Canada, I haven't made it to yet, but that's the last location along with Utah. It's so fun going from East Coast to West Coast and truly competing all over the United States is incredible. We have a lot of presence from Canada, but also other countries such as Jamaica, Brazil, and it goes on and on and on. So to have that ability to compete internationally, but be on home soil for North America's Cup is awesome.
What's that feeling like, getting to compete in Lake Placid?
Lake Placid is so historical. I remember watching the movie Miracle and hearing everything about that 1980 Olympic team. And even just walking down the street, you can just feel the history of sport, especially winter sport, all around Lake Placid. However, Lake Placid is one of the hardest bobsled tracks in the world. So as much as you're mesmerized by the history, you also know it's no joke. And when you show up there, you got to be ready to go.
How is it like training for Lake Placid, as you said that's one of your hardest tracks?
It takes time, and you have to be patient. You have to know I need to go at a level where, you start from the bottom of the track and you work your way up at a pace that works for you. It doesn't mean it's the same pace that's going to work for everybody. But when you're in the sport of bobsled, especially, crashes happen. It's a part of the sport, but we want to try to eliminate that, right? We want to be as safe as possible, take calculated risks for speed, but not risks that are in danger that could harm you without needing, right? So going to Lake Placid every time, you have to have a good game plan of where you're going to start, how you're going to approach it. But also you just got to be bold. You can't have any fear. You gotta beat that track. And it's not always easy all the time.
Of course, what was it like getting to compete in the Junior World Championship in Austria?
A dream. It truly was a dream. That is something that I had noticed early on in the season, that there was a Junior World Championship and I would be eligible based off of my age. So it's 26 and under. I competed. I had just turned 25, like while I was in Austria. So I still made it, and it was really cool. It was like an amazing birthday present to be there and to be in a country I've never been to before and look around and see all these phenomenal and get to go head to head with some of the best in the world on a junior level and really see what country's youth has to offer that I'll be competing against for the next, hopefully, several years.
Of course, what was that feeling like, as you said, getting to travel the world and getting to see all these different countries as being a U.S. bobsledder?
It's surreal. I still can't believe it. People ask me and I say, yeah, I last year went to Germany and Austria and competed over there for Team USA bobsled on the developmental circuit on the Europa Cup. And I sometimes still have to pinch myself that I even did that, and that the Lord had blessed me with opportunities and the abilities to do that. I am so incredibly grateful. And that's something that I can't wait to tell my kids someday. I can't wait for me to brag to my grandkids someday about how I've had these amazing opportunities. And I am so thankful and blessed, and thank you, God, for the opportunity.
How's it been like, obviously, getting to balance being a U.S. bobsledder and also serving our country and being a Marine?
It's really challenging. I love the Marine Corps. I love being a Marine. There's nothing more that I love than waking up and coming to work and impacting lives of people around me. I also love bobsled, and I have two massive loves that I try to give everything I have to both of them. Difficult, but too easy, and you want to do it. I'm trying to pay for Marines in the future to kind of continue pursue sport professional setting. So I have that as my mission statement, and my goal is to create a path where there is none right now.
Of course, how has that been like paving the way for not just women, but also people serving our country to also be a participant and go to the Olympics one day?
I'm not going to say a burden, but it's something that I feel I owe it to the people that are soon to come. I owe it to them to make a path where then to help that you can be active duty, you can balance this and still be a top level athlete, and it's possible. I'm not going to say it's a weight on my shoulders. I'm not going to say it adds any pressure, but I do feel an obligation to our youth and the people that will eventually come after me to make their lives easier.
What is that feeling like when you get to put on that bobsled gear and that suit that represents US?
I remember the first time I got my race suit, and I took like a million pictures in it because I was like, wow, this says US. Now I wear my uniform every day that says US Marine. That's special too. But to be able to put on that uniform in front of other countries and look side to side and have, the United States painted on there is something that I literally just, I'm blanking on words because I can't describe it, but it's the most humbling and full of honor feeling that I could possibly say, to know that my country on a world stage and do it in a female and do it for everyone that I know, for God, country, my Marines, my family. There's just so much there. And we have an amazing country. I love the United States, and I couldn't be happier than to represent them.
Of course, what is it feeling like getting to put on that US gear with also getting to put on your Marine gear too?
It allows us really awesome balance. I think sometimes people fall into a pattern where they're constantly doing the same thing and never fighting anymore. When I put on my bobsled uniform, because I don't get to do it every day, it's like the best thing ever. And then I come back to work and get to put on my camis, and it's like the best thing ever. I'm like, oh, I missed this. Weeks, away from it, but it's so refreshing because it's different, and you have that change of pace that you get to experience. And what an honor to be able to have both. And what people don't see is how much blood, sweat, and tears literally goes into being able to wear both of these. And so I wear it with pride and honor.
Of course, what is that balance like, as you said, participating on the bobsledding side and also serving our country on the Marine side?
Being a Marine comes first, and I made that commitment several years ago in 2019 that I'm going to be a Marine Corps officer and being held to the highest standards for my country. And so my job, my Marines, 100% comes first, but I also am pursuing everything I can. And so the balance will always be Marine first, but also try to see how can I balance and mix both of them. So majority of my day is spent at work. Everything I do training for bobsled is additional workouts to what I'm already doing in the Marine Corps.
Of course, what is your training like on the bobsledding side?
It really depends what we're in, with what my training looks like. So like majority of athletes, when I'm in season, it's going to look a little different, right? when it's winter, we're in Lake Placid, we're in Utah, we're not lifting and running as much. We're more focused on sliding every day. And that takes a lot out of your body. And you're kind of in a maintenance mode for weightlifting and sprinting and stuff. Right now I'm in my off season. I call it like ground training. So I'm going as hard as I can, almost 6 days a week, working on being explosive, running and sprinting and lifting and trying to be in the best shape I can to prepare myself to endure.
How is it like getting to compete in the Euro Cup?
The Europa Cup was awesome. Just like I love my home soil and competing in the United States because it's comfortable, but then to go to someone else's country and to be there and be like, oh, the United States came, like they came across the pond. You're like, yeah, I'm here. Let's go. So that was really awesome to experience and see parts of the world that I never thought I ever would. And I was able to do it through bobsled, and I got to see some of the amazing world that the Lord has created because of bobsled. And I am so grateful, and I can't wait. I hope that there's more in store. I hope that there's more countries I get to go and see in places. But if not, I'm so excited that I was able to see a lot of Austria and Germany already.
What was that feeling like getting to compete in the North American Cup?
The feeling was awesome. I got to compete in the North American Cup the year of the Olympics. So people were trying to qualify for the Olympics through the North American Cup. So people that I competed against went to the Olympics. So that was surreal. Watching them later on in February of this past year and seeing people that against are on the Olympic team was awesome. So this past season especially was incredible to be a part of the North American Cup and see people progress.
What was that feeling like getting to train with those Olympians that made it to the Olympics?
It was super cool. You know the bobsled, the small community. We're competing against everyone, right? But you want to be as kind, nice as possible. You want to learn about other people. And I think it's so cool to be with other countries and learn stuff about other people and their culture and where they come from. And so, on the men's side and women's side, I was able to see some people like the Jamaican team, Trinidad and Tobago, and Brazil, and some of these other people that I met along the way that I competed against that I got to see go to the Olympics. I'm like, I know them, and yes, I'm rooting for the United States, but I also want to see them do well. I feel like a connection to them in a way. And so that was really cool to watch the Olympics and have a personal buy-in of like, oh, that's so and so and so, and like being able to message them on social media and be like, man, you did great. Again, I'm all Team USA all the way, but there's something about supporting other people and other athletes that's important too.
What was that like getting to compete in the monobob 2 years ago for the first time?
It was awesome. Monobob is still a new sport that's being created and gaining a lot of popularity. And so being able to be in the new sleds and being able to part of like bringing another bobsled event to Olympics was super fun, challenging. It's a different discipline that we're still growing in, but it's cool to be a part of that as something new is happening.
Of course, what is the difference between monobob and regular bobsled?
So I'm a pilot, so that's my position in the front, steering the bobsled. So in a monobob, just me and the sled, just the pilot. And in a 2-woman bobsled, there's the pilot, and then behind is the brakeman. So the difference is the weight, the number of people, and your positioning. So when I start, if I'm in a monobob, I'm in the back. If I'm in a 2-woman, I'm on the side and jumping in from the side.
Of course, what is that feeling like being the pilot for bobsled?
It's awesome. I love being a pilot. It comes with a lot of responsibility, and with a lot of responsibility, comes a lot of risk. And it's on you, your brakeman, and the brakeman position is not easy, and you have to have a lot of stinking guts to go into it. I've had some of the best brakemen that I know of, and they're just some tough, amazing women. But, to be a pilot means that you have to know everything. You have to know every track. You have to know conditions. You have to know your equipment. It is your responsibility to make sure that you get your teammate down safely. And, it's pressure, but it's fun. I'm glad to be in control, and I want to be able to look my teammate in the eye and be like, hey, I got you. We're going to get this done, and we're going to get this together.
Of course, how has your training being a Marine helped you into your training as a bobsledder and vice versa?
Being a Marine and all that you do is about decision making and relying on your training to be able to make quick decisions, especially when you're in something like combat. And I think bobsled is very similarly represents that in the sense of you're going really fast, 80 to 90 miles an hour down a hill with split decision making on the turns. And it's very similar with a war situation. I haven't been in one, but we've done some simulations, and you have a plan in your training, and then first contact hits and you have to adjust and rely on what you know and not second guess yourself. And it takes some courage to lead those people and get it done. So I think that they go really well hand to hand. I think because of each of them, I'm better at the other. And I think that I'm able to progress because of them.
Of course, what is that feeling like getting to live out your bobsledding dream?
I won't lie to you. The bobsledding dream, I didn't always have dreams about being an Olympic bobsledder. I played softball my whole life, but I have this dream to inspire women around the world, and bobsled gives me the tools to do so. And my goal is just to impact as many men and women, but primarily women, that you can set your mind to anything and achieve it. And God is good. People are great, and you have different kinds of Marines, family, friends that'll always support you in everything you do.
What are some of your favorite memories while representing US on the bobsledding side?
I loved going to Europe with my team and experiencing different cultures. We had so many laughs. I remember we were in Germany with Nicole Vogt and Emily Renna, Nicole Brungart, and Jeff Gaboy, Bryce Cheek, and the amount of laughs and memories we have just like learning a new culture and not speaking the same language and getting lost on an 8-hour car ride. And I ordered what I thought was pepperoni pizza, and it like has peppers on it, and like just being devastated, just like those little things that you don't know is going to happen, but you're just with people living in a new culture, figuring it out as young adults. Those are the best memories I have. Yeah, competing and everything is awesome, but it's the people and your teammates that make it so great.
Of course, what is something that you learn now that you didn't know before getting started in bobsledding?
I definitely didn't know how difficult it was to try to be a professional athlete, especially in the terms of bobsled. There's not a lot of money in the sport, and it's a grind. You have to, majority of people have a second job. You can't just give your whole life to sport because the finances are costly, but it actually looks like to do that. And it opened my eyes to a world I had no idea about.
What are some of your game day rituals and routines before getting prepared for bobsledding?
First and foremost, my day is I wake up and I open up my Bible and I read and I pray, and I go to bobsled. I have my like warm up routine. And I don't really listen to music. A lot of people listen to music, play my thing. I just kind of try to take in my surroundings. I pray. I'm talking to the Lord before, as I'm warming up, getting ready with my teammates, and, just practicing getting in the zone. I try not to get too high, and I try not to ever get too low, and try to just keep it really consistent.
Of course, what is that feeling like having US bobsledder behind your last name?
I even just hearing you say it, insane. I still am trying to get used to it. It's an honor. USA Bobsled is an amazing organization that has had rich history and success, especially on the women's side. And to be a female trying to get into, the United States bobsled team is next level. Being even a developmental athlete as I am right now is an honor to even have this. And a lot of people don't even make it this far. So I don't take anything for granted. I thank the Lord every day, and I just want to keep seeing what I'm able to perform and what I'm able to do.
Of course, how does it feel not just to have US bobsledder, but also a US Marine behind your last name along with US bobsledder?
Yeah, I think it's really special. I think that's what makes, compared to other people, is we haven't seen that before. The United States Marine be a bobsledder as a female, and I take a lot of pride, and I hope that there's going to be others after me, and it inspires a lot of other people.
Of course, who are some of the people that you look up to in the sport of bobsledding?
There's a lot. I'm going to start with Alana Myers-Taylor. Like I said, she was my first introduction to bobsled. She is an amazing woman. She's a mother. She is a phenomenal athlete. She is the most decorated athlete. She's involved in charity organizations. She's like on like 6 different councils, I swear. And like this woman is just breathtaking and has a mission and goes after it. And it's hard not to respect that. Right. And I look at 2 of my other teammates, Nicole Vogt and Brittany Reinbold, and I'm so inspired by their faith. They brought me in as a strong Christian and have like showed me their walk through Christ, through sport, and being able to engage that with them has been just absolutely next level. And then now Keely Humphreys, she is on Team USA now, which is super awesome. She competed. She's just a stud athlete. So I love seeing how she performs and her style, and trying to learn bobsled through her.
Of course, who are some of the influential people in your career?
My mom and my dad are my most two influential people. My dad was a professional athlete. He played minor league baseball, and my mom has just one of my best and has gotten me to where I am academically and has always been a soundboard for me to talk through. And they are the reason why I'm here. They gave me the foundation to become a strong woman and the tools and resources to join the Marine Corps and to now pursue sport.
Of course, what are some of your future plans in the sport of bobsledding?
We'll see what the Lord has for, but my ideal plan is to see if I have what it takes to potentially make it in the 2026 games. I'm going to work as hard as I can to see if I meet the cut for Team USA. And if not, my goal is to inspire as many people and spread the gospel and spread love to people around me and just see what I can do.
Of course, what is that feeling going to feel like, obviously, when you get to make the 2026 games and go to Paris to represent US on the Olympic level?
God willing, if that's what happens, I think I'm going to cry for a while with happiness. And I don't know. I haven't even thought about it because it feels so far away, such a hard goal to be able to get to that level, because it is the best of the absolute best, and very few people get a hold that title of Olympian. But if that's what the Lord has in store for me, I think I would just be overwhelmed with emotion and crying and happy and just wanting to make everyone proud.
What advice would you give college athletes that are looking to get into bobsledding?
The best advice I would give is finish your sport, do what you went to college for, finish, give it everything that you have. And once you're done, if this is something, if bobsled speaks your interest like it did to mine, connect with the right kinds of people, be ready for a hard, intense sport, and not a lot of fame and glamour, but a sport that gets after it every day.
What advice would you give current and future bobsledders looking to get into the sport of bobsledding?
The best advice that I would give them is it's not an easy route, but if it was easy, everyone would take it. You're going to fail, you're going to have setbacks, but that's what makes the sport so awesome.
What advice would you give current and future bobsledders such as yourself that is bobsledding and also representing the country on the Marine military side, whether it's Marines, Army, Navy?
I would remind them that we have a duty to our country to represent our country in multiple ways, and that is something that is very special, and that's something that people do that are not in the armed services, that we have a higher code of conduct and standards that need to upheld, and we need to be in the best physical shape and be ready at any time that if our country needs us, we're ready to go.
What advice would you give them that are looking to balance between being a bobsledder and also serving the armed forces?
I would say the balance is easy. I would say every day it looks a little bit different, and you're going to have to make sacrifices, and you're not going to be able to please everyone. It's going to be a tough journey, but get people behind your side, get your tribe, get your community, get people that will lift you up, and get ready for a dogfight.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
So I only have one account, despite a couple people fake accounts. It's ri.compton, my last name. You can find me on Instagram. Give me a shout out, message me, anything. I'd be happy to talk to anybody. It's what makes me feel fulfilled, is being able to inspire others, talk them through their process.
Thank you again, Riley Compton, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as a U.S. bobsledder.
Thanks, Brandon.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Riley Compton, for your interview, and best of luck in your future in the sport of bobsledding.
Thanks.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.